Ladies and gentlemen, in this episode of the G-Shock Watcher, something a little bit different and maybe more of a public service announcement, I wanted to talk about one of our favourite watches, or one of my favourite watches, the G-Shock Frogman, this limited edition watch. And recently I had a bit of an issue and I thought I got it fixed, but it wasn't. And the team told me it was within spec. So I wanted to share with you what happened there and just make sure you were aware before making any purchasing decisions. Thanks for joining. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. Before I get started, just a quick note. Been getting some great traction. Please, I'd really appreciate it if you can like, subscribe, add a comment. We've been getting some great momentum and it really keeps me encouraged to keep going. But with that, let's talk about this particular watch, which is the G-Shock Frogman limited edition watch, a watch which I really, really like. Now, as I said in the intro, I recently went to have this sort of serviced at the Casio service center because of a particular issue where this hinge here, which you can sort of see, was kind of clicking. Like if I put it on and then close it off, what you'll sort of note, and maybe you can't hear, but if I put it in a microphone, you hear this clicking as if the hinge itself wasn't actually connecting with the actual locking mechanism properly. So let me put this on and you'll get a sense of what's actually going on. You can hear that that sound. Hopefully that's coming through. But that is the hinge on the actual watch. And so it doesn't happen at one side. This side here, how do I do this on my arm? This side here isn't necessarily doing it, but this side here, if I push on this, it's making this particular noise. Now, I thought this was essentially a problem. So I went down to the Casio store, and if you'll remember, we talked about the ransomware episode. They weren't able to really get this resolved very, very quickly. So it took 2 months. When I went to the store, they said this was per design. And I said, hey, look, for the price I'm paying for the watch, this clickiness can't be part of the actual design itself. It seems like a manufacturing fault. So they said, well, if you want, we can go ahead and get it repaired, which makes you think that something was wrong with it. But we get the parts from Japan and go ahead and actually do it because it's, you know, a limited edition watch, as they sort of say. So it came back and the same problem, right? That clickiness is still there on the actual hinge itself. It doesn't sit flush, which is really, really frustrating. And I showed them this again. I showed them, look, this doesn't seem like the premium experience I've come to expect from G-Shock. But they said, oh, we asked with Japan and they said this was within design. So I thought about this and I said, I've got other watches which have hinges as well. So if I go through and have a look at this particular watch, which is an MTG, right? So focus is not so fantastic, but this is the MTG watch. It also has a similar sort of mechanism. Now, it doesn't have the clasp which goes over the top, but if I put this on and click it into place, there's very little motion or re-clickiness as I'm pushing on the particular hinge. So this doesn't happen. It doesn't happen here. This is in design spec. And then another watch, which we also have as well, which I've put somewhere, one of our more common ones, well, not common, but more recent ones, is the chronograph watch, right? And this chronograph watch also has a hinge as well. And so if we put that hinge on, there's no clickiness as well, right? The only noise you're potentially hearing here is the bracelet shuffling around as I'm putting pressure on the actual watch. So I'm kind of bemused as to why is it that on the chronograph watch, on the MTG watch, which are both metal watches, and then we get to the Frogman, which should be a higher end watch, especially when it's limited, has this clickiness. It just doesn't feel like it's fitting in there flat. But they're saying that that is within design specs. So I kind of feel like, yes, it's a criticism of Casio and G-Shock, but when you pay this amount of money, it is something you want to be cautious of. So just for people out there who are looking at a Frogman, and particularly this particular model with the all metal finish, just check the bracelet. Check for put it on your wrist and just give it some pressure on the actual clasp, because if that is going to annoy you, you don't want to be in the same situation as me, where I just kind of feel it's a single fault which just makes a flawless watch a little less happy. I still love the watch. Just that one little experience is a bit which is actually sort of pinged me in my head. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Just wanted to do that public service announcement. Make sure you're aware of what the potential issue is with that particular watch. I do love it. I love my G-Shocks. Just one small fault there, which I want to make sure people feel that they're aware of. And if you're thinking you're going to go get it fixed, they will tell you that clickiness is within design. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a great day. Thanks for joining me. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you very much.